this video, I will be breaking down the marathon ViDoc. Make sure you check out Bond's video for another perspective, and I highly recommend that you watch Jake the Alright's ARG videos, which will give background and context to the story and lore of the new marathon game.
In Bungie's next game, we're combining the rich history of Marathon with a PvP extraction shooter where players get to be part of the narrative. I think that's just going to be a magic formula.
In Helldivers 2, they have a game master who controls the events of the game. This GM controls the actions of the enemy factions and assigns major orders for the players to complete. Whether players complete the order or not, the outcome will influence the game world and become canon. For example, if players fail to defend a sector, the automatons will advance to Super Earth. If the players succeed, they might try to flank around, or perhaps the Terminids will start an attack of their own from the other side. I hope we get something like this in Marathon, where succeeding or failing tasks from the four main factions, the UESC, Traxxas, Mida, and Sekiguchi, will affect the game world and story. For example, many players might fall off the map getting to an objective area, and in a future season we might visit the bottom of this hole and find many biomatter bodies. Perhaps there will be faction wars, where players can pledge their allegiance to one of the factions and fight for territory containing various colony technology and resources.
In Marathon, you are a runner, and you're exploring the hostile world of Tau City 4, looking for mysterious artifacts, implants, and weapons for your runner that are just going to make your character stronger.
This looks like a post-death screen. The purple button could be the continue or exit to menu button. This looks like a build of the main menu screen. Bond also covered this in his video. There is a runner in the center, and on the right side there are 6 buttons: Quests, Agents, Mailbox, Debug, Status, and Black Market Deep Link. Quests could be similar to Tarkov and Dark and Darker's NPC vendor quests, or it could be something like Hunt Showdown's weekly challenges. There are 3 things I can think of for agents. 1. Agents could be NPC vendors, where you buy and trade items. 2. It could be your clone storage, where you can customize your clones and or select an active clone. Or 3. This could be where you see the playable heroes. The mailbox might be the friends and invites menu, or maybe the mailbox will be a primary way of storytelling in the game. Perhaps the different factions will post PSAs in our inboxes. Debug may serve as another storytelling tool. It would be really cool if there were periodic hacking puzzles for the community, similar to the ARG but in-game, although this might just be a dev tool. Status could mean many things. Perhaps we can look here for information about any weather or event modifiers on the different maps. On mobile, a deep link is a link that takes you to an app rather than a website. On computers, it's just a normal hyperlink. Maybe there will be an IRL Marathon Black Market app. The left side also has boxes and buttons, but they seem to have random placeholder names, so I won't bother with those. This looks like a first-person reload animation. Here is a panel of concept art. These 2 runners seem to be protecting the hacker. Perhaps starting a hack triggers defense systems and alarms. Later in the ViDoc, they talk about there being multiple ways you can win at Marathon. Hacking seems to be a big feature in the game, so I would guess hacking is another way to win. Maybe before loading into the map, you can choose an objective bounty, such as hacking, defense, escort, assassination, etc. The 3 runners have a wide variety of gear that seem to differ slightly in size. Watch this video from Bond about the potential classes. This runner has a tube that runs from their pack to their gun. This weapon might use a fuel type ammunition, like a flamethrower or energy weapon. They also have a patch on their shoulder. Perhaps we can put stickers on our armor and weapons.
You make the best things on the shoulders of giants, and in our case, those giants are Halo and Destiny. The team's been leveraging 30 years of experience and innovation and passion to create Marathon.
This code was for the Traxxas chat room from the ARG.
So in Marathon, you're a runner. A runner is a cybernetic mercenary.
Seeing these UESC runners makes me wonder if there will be NPC runners wandering around the maps, like NPC scavs from Tarkov. Perhaps different regions of the map or different maps will be occupied by different faction NPCs, and if you are affiliated with them, they might be friendly to you.
They're this combination of fashion and sci-fi and cyberpunk. They're just so cool.
You're going to be able to both visually represent yourself in really interesting ways, but then also there's going to be gameplay modifications, which is going to be awesome. And it means that you and the other 2 people on your crew can pick your different play styles. I think the runners are going to be a really great way for our players to shape their gameplay.
I showed this in my marathon trailer breakdown. It's concept art for the hacker or SIGINT class. Check out Bond's video. This specific runner's name seems to be Ilona. Since she is named, perhaps we will see her in-game as an NPC. What is a cipher, and what is it used for? In real life, a cipher is a guide that is used to decode things. So I'd guess ciphers are used for hacking, maybe exclusively or more efficiently by the hacker class. The cipher might be an ability or a consumable item, like a lockpick. Perhaps it is this device that is plugged into the terminal.
Tau Ceti is a varied, vibrant, and dangerous world.
The Character Design Studio is helping Bungie with Marathon. Character is a studio that has helped various other game and film studios build their worlds. I don't know if Tau Ceti 4 has 2 moons, or if this one is just a UI graphic. As far as we know, the Marathon colony, New Cascadia, was limited to the planet of Tau Ceti 4, so the moons and other planets are unexplored. In the AIG, the UESC mentioned plans for another colony, Argolis, most likely on another planet in the system. So exploring other planets and moons might actually be in Bungie's plans for Marathon.
We wanted to make sure this world pushed back on you in the right amount.
When I first saw this, I thought it might be a dropship that runners use to infill/exfiltrate in and out of the maps. If this was the case, then the balloon would imply that we drop in or escape vertically from the map, perhaps to and from the equanimity that is in orbit. If that was the case, then the maps might rotate based on where the equanimity is in orbit. However, in Bond's analysis of the ViDoc, he was able to do some tech magic and enhance his text. It says supply drop lander. What kind of supplies? Just health and ammo? Or will there be other support call-ins like Helldivers 2? In the game Deep Rock Galactic, another extraction-based shooter type game, some mission objectives require the use of called-in support tools. Perhaps as a part of a repair the colony objective, the UESC might send you the supplies for the job from orbit once you reach the location. It cuts to the Cyclone when he talks about this pushback. This might mean there will be dynamic weather events, which I talked about in my trailer breakdown. This pushback may also refer to enemies. The trailer teased the Sphit and maybe a 4 hunter, so hostile 4 are expected, but the native fauna and flora could pose a threat too. And don't forget the potentially rampant AIs in the colony.
You're going to drop into persistent zones. You never know what you're going to find or who you're going to face. You're trying to get out alive, and so is everyone else.
Persistent zones is interesting. As far as I know, extraction games usually have a match timer. If it runs out and you haven't extracted, you die. This Insider Gaming article on the gameplay marathon says that the match timer is replaced with an oxygen timer. This all sounds very cool, and I think seeing people dropping and extracting left, right and center during a match will enhance the feeling of being a part of a living world. However, I'm concerned about spawn camping. If there are specific spawn zones, that could be a problem. But maybe it will be like Helldivers 2, where you can see enemy activity and choose your drop zone accordingly. These look like vehicles. Will we be able to drive these? Also, there are Japanese characters here. This might imply that Sekiguchi was also involved with the Marathon Colony project, but I think as far as we know, they were not involved.
Are you serious? We're combining the best of that Bungie touch and feel gameplay, but we're adding that incredible tension and these emotional highs and lows.
This might be the same death screen from earlier. Blue Runner. The movement of the camera in the model looks weird to me here. Is this a third-person perspective? This shows us what weapon customization might look like. On the right, it lists decal, frame, barrel, scope, mag, stock. Frame, barrel, scope, and mag are listed twice, so there might be 2 attachments on these parts. There is something called an attach point. Maybe there are unique attachments that aren't your typical laser sight or grip, but something more like the exotic perks from Destiny, such as a laser beam or invis on reload. Perhaps there will be Warframe-style mods that give stat boosts.
We want that kind of just surprising, dangerous mystery. Imagine going into this basement of one of the colony buildings and it's like flooded with water, murkiness. It's too quiet. Just the sloshing of your footsteps. Around the corner, you see some beam of green light. And you're like, oh no, what is that?
This looks like the glow of an artifact. The artifact being hidden over here implies that the artifacts will usually be found in hard to get areas rather than just laying about in the open. We might find the bodies of notable characters from the story around the maps. Perhaps interacting with these will grant access to additional lore, quest items, or secret items, like a keycard. This red bug might be a hostile enemy, like the bees from Hunt. It looks like this runner ran into a compiler in this server room. Finding a compiler in a server room would make sense, as they like to hack things. Maybe certain enemies are more common in certain areas.
Marathon is a game where you're always one run away from greatness. You might find like the sick loot in this corner. You might find the compiler in that corner, but every choice you make matters.
There are notes and papers all around the interior of this place. Perhaps these will have clues to the puzzles in game. This hacker is shooting at a compiler. Maybe they started a hack and the compiler was alerted. The tubing on the gun does confuse me. In this image, it wasn't clear what kind of gun it was. It could have been a flamethrower or energy weapon. But this one looks like a regular bullet shooting gun to me. I don't know why it would have a tube, unless it's gas powered. Or a hero ability lets you overcharge your weapons, like the Sentinel from Apex Legends.
It's great to see some of those moments in the world that just kind of naturally happen as players collide.
What runners are doing is gonna be that exciting narrative that unfolds over the course of a season.
I assume this will work similar to how they do it in Destiny 2. Every season there is an overarching story, and the seasonal activities fit to that story. I do hope that in Marathon they will make it more dynamic than it is in Destiny 2, as in we need to solve a puzzle to unlock a zone in order to progress the seasonal story. And maybe if we don't solve the puzzle in time, we fail, and that has consequences on future events. Basically, something more like Helldivers 2.
Who knows what's gonna happen, but imagine if one crew happens to find an alien key. They place it on this altar, and then they get memorialized for opening up the next zone. And they have to go and figure out how to then unlock that for everybody else.
This looks like the teleportation technology from the classic games. Perhaps instead of dropping into maps, we will simply teleport. Or maybe some of the extracts are instant teleporters, but you need to pay to use it, or something like that. But what I think is happening here is this crew use an alien key to teleport into a new zone, but it's a one-way ticket, so they need to open the zone in order to get to an extract.
There's a lot of ways to feel like you can win this game. Obviously, getting out alive is the primary one. You can win by getting out with the most artifacts.
This looks like concept art for a map. I wonder what this green beam is. An extraction point? Maybe someone is currently extracting at that location. Maybe a new crew is loading into the map. It could be a supply drop. Or maybe a hunt-like bounty locator. Or maybe someone just unlocked a new zone. Here is a swamp-like area. Remember this building for later.
Each piece of an artifact you find in the world combines into creating bigger, more valuable artifacts. I've had a run where I've got all the pieces to get a prime artifact. I could get out, I could win. And then I hear gunfire in a building nearby, and I know I just need one more piece to get that prime. And that's a decision that we want players to have to make.
Here they show us what the artifacts might look like. Personally, I think these artifacts look boring. When I think of an artifact, I think compiler power core, or shattered 4 fighter staff, or busted hunter shoulder cannon, not glowing polyhedrons. I wonder what they mean by valuable. Can these artifacts be sold? Or do you open artifacts? And the more valuable the artifact, the more valuable the reward, like a loot box. In an interview with Jason Jones from 1993, a year before the first Marathon game, he mentioned artifacts when talking about the game Pathways into Darkness, which is a part of the Marathon universe. I haven't played Pathways into Darkness, but some things from that game may make a return in the new game.
You can choose to engage the other team, you can choose to just find the artifact, and then you can choose to just get out.
I am down. I actually shared an exfil with someone.
In the back there, it looks like they're getting shot at and they're taking damage.
They started shooting me and I'm like, okay, like I downed them and then I let them go. And that's the point, like I could play any way I want.
She demonstrated her power and then she let them go.
There's just so many different ways you can be famous or infamous.
It looks like there will also be live and dynamic day-night cycles.
Did you help somebody who really needed help? Or you became world's first because you unlocked the zone, or you are the best runner in the world because you've climbed the leaderboard all the way to the top rank and everybody knows it.
I think this is similar to a MAD from the classic game. If we ever do end up fighting AI from the colony, perhaps these MADs will be their primary weapon against us. Perhaps you can hack these old mads and bring them back to life to fight for you. These orange things seem to be valuable. The White Rabbit pulled something similar out of the USC runner from the trailer, although this one might come from the mad instead. Perhaps these are black boxes that store data that we can sell. I assume this room is the interior of the building from earlier that was in the swamp. There are fungal colonies all over the place. These could be environmental hazards that release toxic gas when stepped on. Maybe this zone can only be accessed with certain items or implants that give toxin resistance. Or perhaps as a community event we will purge the area to unlock it. This blue capsule is labelled with Link. This Link logo is on many other things. Perhaps this capsule is what our real bodies are in while we operate the clones. Perhaps we will need to find in-game characters in these and escort them to extract.
The art style of Marathon is graphic realism. Bold, colorful, stylized art.
It's vibrant, it's beautiful.
This was used to log into the Sekiguchi website during the ARG. This looks like a player hideout to me. There are suits hung up on the wall, oxygen tanks, shoes, cleaner products, storage.
But also mysterious. It's familiar, but also strange. We're really trying to find the right mix of beauty and mystery.
There are 4 runners working together here. Bungie has said that the largest squad size is 3, so this is interesting. Maybe this is 2 squads teaming up using proximity chat. Maybe we can form temporary alliances with other squads in game, like in Sea of Thieves, and share their rewards. 2 of the runners are carrying a box between them. Is this box too heavy to carry alone? Perhaps these 2 are just NPCs and the other 2 are escorting a payload. Room.
When I jump into the game, I'm just like running for my life, but at the same time I'll be like, oh, this bush is so beautiful. Oh, look at that building. Oh my.
Because we're targeting this like very bold style, it's a balancing act to figure out where do we dial it to 11, where do we dial it back to 6, and which objects and which elements of the world do we really want to highlight. It's something fresh and sort of uncharted territory.
Could this be a cipher?
With Marathon, Bungie is very clearly focusing on PvP, and so from the ground up, the integrity of the experience has been absolutely critical.
This looks like a greenhouse garden area. We have seen this OUN code before. It was on the White Rabbit's ID card. I have no idea what that could mean. It says Muse here. Is this their player name, or perhaps another class? The glowing parts of the runners are cool. It looks like this runner is super fast or using a dash ability. If dashing is an ability, then maybe the glowing, glitching graphics telegraph the use of abilities. In that case, Muse is doing something with their arm.
And it was non-negotiable that Bungie was going to be investing in dedicated servers for Marathon, disconnect recovery, and fog of war. Like, without those elements, none of this matters.
So we actually have a dedicated team in charge of security and making sure the game is as fair as possible.
Looks like there are 2 players here looking at each other in the game. Dedicated servers are essential for competitive online games, and disconnect recovery is great. But what is fog of war? I assume they're talking about an anti-cheating technique, where the game server only sends the information that the player can see to the player's game client, rather than sending all the information of everything on the map at once, like the locations of other players and entities that are not in sight. If you want to find out all the information from this part, go check out Bond's video. Another screen.
Marathon's going to be releasing on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC, and it's going to have full cross-save and cross-play.
We are marching towards our alpha, which is really exciting.
We wish we could show you all the cool stuff that we're working on right now, but we can't do it just yet.
After this announcement, we are going to go dark for a while, for an extended period, while we focus on developing and playtesting the game.
Oh, I got one.
Another screen. Maybe they're shooting, then putting their weapon away, waving their hands.
Next time you hear from us, we're going to be much closer to release, and we will be ready to reveal gameplay.
You're being thwarted all the time, and you've got to adapt. At the core, it's what it means to be human.
I was just gonna say you shoot people and take their stuff. That was way better than I was gonna do.
And that does it for this breakdown. Please let me know if I missed anything. Thanks for watching.